Hey y'all, I'm Leslie Hooper.
And I'm Steph Mitamontes.
The holiday season is among us, and we are here to provide you with some actionable tools, some insights into how to make the most out of the holiday season, eat, drink, and be merry without the holiday weight gain. Today, we're going to be featuring or reacting to a video here on YouTube highlighting weight loss and Thanksgiving dinner tips. So, Steph, buckle up. We'll see what this lovely lady has to say. I know you're going to have some thoughts. I've already got some thoughts.
Thanksgiving is right around the corner, which means fun, festivities, family, friends, and of course, food. Thanksgiving seems to be the start of an entire holiday season filled with food, fat, sugar, cheese, gooey, chocolatey, rich, sweet, and delicious. Oh my gosh, is anybody else's mouth watering? I know mine is. It seems to be the start of the season that's set out to sabotage all of us trying to lose weight or trying to maintain a weight loss goal. But I am here to tell you today, my friends, that it does not have to be that way. I have 10 tips to help you survive Thanksgiving, and I firmly believe that if you survive Thanksgiving, the start of the holiday season, that you can stay on track all season long as you survive day one. Does this sound interesting to you? Let's dive right in. I believe that if we start Thanksgiving strong, you know that whole progress brings more progress, momentum brings more momentum. If we can start Thanksgiving hitting the ground running, then we should be able to run right through the holiday season with minimal roadblocks. So, number one, water, water, water. Drink water in the morning. Stay hydrated throughout the day. Drink water in between your alcoholic beverages of choice. Have a glass of wine, have a glass of water, have another glass of wine, have another glass of water or two. Drinking water and staying hydrated helps keep your body functioning properly and functioning efficiently. It takes up a little bit of that room in your stomach to hopefully make you feel fuller. If you are drinking in between your alcoholic beverages, you are not consuming as many calories as if you always had an alcoholic beverage in your hand. And water is just good for you. It's just plain good for you. In any tip video regarding health and fitness anywhere, I can almost guarantee you that drinking water is going to be one of the tips because it's just one of the best things you can possibly do for your body. It's free, it's easy, it feels good, it tastes good. At least I think water tastes good. It's my favorite thing ever. And it is absolutely 110% necessary.
Okay, Steph, that was tip number one, water, water, water. Initial thoughts.
I mean, I am all for staying hydrated. I am all for staying hydrated. But when we start talking about water, 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 if you're using water to try and avoid feeling hungry, if you're trying to fill up your stomach on water so that there's less room for food, I will just tell you that will never work. That will never work. Water being delicious and your favorite thing ever, I'd like to have a talk with you about that. I don't know if I believe you. Water's great, but it's nothing compared to, I don't know, pecan pie if you had the choice. So I think that this time of year is really fun. I think the kinds of food and things like that that get brought to the table can be really interesting and good and different and novel and all of that. And the last thing that I want to be doing is filling up on water. I will drink a reasonable amount of water due to how thirsty I am, and that will be my strategy. What do you think?
Yeah, for me, it's always about the motivation, the underlying reason why we're consuming so much water. Is this because we are afraid of overeating? Are we using water as a way to fill our stomachs up so we don't eat as much before our meals? And so, again, water, water, water is kind of relative depending on how much you drink anyway. But I just curious as to the motivation as to why we would want to be consuming so much water. To your point, I don't think it actually prevents hunger, not true hunger. And also, why wouldn't we want to be able to be present with these holiday foods, the novelty of this once a year opportunity to sit down and enjoy all the things? We can just own that. And then from there, figure out what our perfect roadmap is going to be in order to have the pleasurable experience with all of these foods, which, by the way, we have created a holiday toolkit to help you do just that. 7 steps to master your holiday meal so you can enjoy all of your favorite things without feeling restricted and deprived, be in control. So we don't need gimmicky strategies like drinking all the water ahead of time. So that toolkit will be in the show notes for those of you who are interested in seeing our recommendations for how to navigate all holiday meals. All right, let's move on to tip number 2 then.
Tip number 2, bring a dish to share. One of the things that has the ability to strike the fear into a Weight Watcher, a diet person, someone trying to lose weight the most is going to an event and not having anything that they feel is on plan. Be the solution to the problem, my friends, and bring your own dish to share. Want to make sure there's some things that are 0 points there? Bring some steamed vegetables. That's all you got to do. Bring some steamed vegetables. Enough for everybody. Help encourage other people to make a healthy choice as well. But you can at least rest assured knowing I have 0 point food that I can pile onto my plate along with all the good stuff, which will help fill up my tummy for 0 points and help keep me on track even while I'm indulging in the Thanksgiving feast. Don't want to bring vegetables? That's okay too. Anything that you think will help you stay on plan is a great idea to bring, and bring enough to share with other people because that encourages others to make the healthy choice that you want to make as well.
Okay, Steph, thoughts on tip number 2? Bring enough for everyone. And she highlights vegetables specifically here.
If you come to my house on Thanksgiving Day with a platter of steamed vegetables, you are not invited next year. You're just not. I am sorry. Do not encourage me to eat your boring ass steamed vegetables on Thanksgiving Day. I can eat that shit anytime I want to. What are we even doing? Just stay home. You are no fun. No, honestly, if you want to eat steamed vegetables for Thanksgiving, you go right ahead. But what is the point? Like, why are we trying to do 0 points on Thanksgiving Day? There is a reason we gather. If you don't like the reason and you don't want to celebrate, that's fine. Don't do that. Eat your steamed vegetables, walk away happy that you got your 0 points. But here's what's really going to happen: you're going to eat your steamed vegetables, you're going to fill up your tummy on all of that water and steam. And then you're going to sit there watching everyone else eat the food that you actually really want to eat. And eventually you're going to start picking. You're going to start pulling pecans off the top of the pecan pie. You're going to start like just getting a little spoonful of mashed potatoes, just a few little edges of the stuffing. And you'll walk away so full thinking you filled up on vegetables when you had Thanksgiving dinner and you didn't even enjoy it. You weren't even there for it because you had to sneak it past your own damn self. That is miserable. Also, nobody wants your advice on weight loss. Like, nobody wants you to be encouraging them to have steamed vegetables. If they wanted to have it, they would have brought it themselves. Like, nobody wants that. Not even you. I promise, not even you. So let's skip out on taking Aunt Bertha's masterful mashed potato recipe and bringing it with cauliflower instead. Let's just not do that. Have the potatoes, have whatever you want to have, and you can eat your boring ass steamed vegetables tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm with you. Look, if you're truly, genuinely excited about steamed vegetables, knock your socks off. But I do kind of hate the better than you energy that's coming with this. Like, well, let me bring for you too, because we want to make sure everybody else is healthy as well. They get to determine what they do with their bodies, what they eat, how much they eat. You don't have to push your agenda onto other people. Don't get it twisted. You don't have to eat this way in order to not overeat at Thanksgiving. You can enjoy Thanksgiving without overeating, which is exactly what we want to encourage you to do. But you don't have to do it by counting your calories or telling yourself you have to waterboard yourself with water ahead of time or fill up on vegetables. That's playing defense. That is not playing offense. That doesn't communicate to me somebody who feels confident and in control of what they're eating, how much they're eating. It's rooted in fear, it's rooted in scarcity, and that is everything that I am against when it comes to the pursuit of weight loss, because that just creates misery. Weight loss shouldn't be miserable. And if it does feel that way, like you're missing out, then you've already lost. You're already set yourself up for short-term success, because humans don't stick to things long-term that they don't like. Simple. So unless you're planning on eating steamed vegetables for the rest of your life and eliminating mashed potatoes or the pecan pie, why not just learn how to interact with it in a way that feels healthy and still supports your goals? Doesn't have to be so extreme. All right, let's move on to tip number 3 here. See what she has to say about this one.
Tip number 3, you might not like, but it's the truth. Wake up, get moving. Guys, get a workout in before the Thanksgiving meal. It is so important to get your body moving, not just because it's going to give you the energy that you need to survive the day with your family, but it's also going to help you in a couple of ways. Have you ever noticed that when you work out, you kind of feel like, hey, I worked out today. I'm making great health choices for myself. So let me continue the trend of making positive health choices. And then on the days that you work out, you tend to eat a little bit better too. When I make healthy choices, it only makes me want to make more healthy choices. So when I work out, I don't necessarily want to negate my workout by binge eating Cheetos on the couch. I want to keep moving. I want to drink the water. I want to make sure that I'm fueling my body properly. And it all stemmed from a workout in the morning. Got a loss for what to do, I can guarantee you that there's probably a turkey trot over by you somewhere. I know that's what my family is going to be doing. My husband, my sister-in-law, her boyfriend, and I are all going to be walking. Well, they're going to be running. I'm going to be walking a 5K turkey trot early on Thanksgiving morning. That means that most of my steps are going to be achieved before even 9 o'clock in the morning, which means my body is burning extra calories. I'm making healthy choices, and it means that I can feel a little bit less guilty about making some indulgent choices later on. Get moving, get the blood flowing, and make a good decision for your body before you might make a couple of poorer ones a little bit later.
I don't hate the suggestion of moving your body in the morning if that's what you feel like doing. To be honest, my Thursdays, whether it's Thanksgiving or any other Thursday, look pretty similar until it's mealtime. And so if I want to work out, I'll work out. If I don't want to work out, I won't work out. It just depends on what I'm in the mood for. But notice the language around indulgence and guilty. Again, messaging around playing defense instead of offense. What stood out to you?
Well, my first thought is this bitch isn't the one providing Thanksgiving dinner, because I will tell you, I am cooking all night pre-Thanksgiving, and then I'm up at like 4 a.m. already starting the turkey and getting things going and getting things done. So she said her and her husband and her sister-in-law, but she didn't say her mother. So I guess all of us moms out there who actually do all of the work, we don't
Okay,
get
well,
to be
to be
healthy.
fair, in my family, we all divide up the labor pretty evenly, and there's a big family. So we're each only
Yeah.
responsible for 1 to 2 dishes. We really do have the time, but I hear what you're saying completely. Not everybody has the luxury to get up and get in a turkey trot before 9 a.m. or
Yeah.
100,000 steps or whatever.
And then, walking a 5K so that she can feel better about indulging later. Let me just tell you, if you walk a 5K, you've burned maybe 200 calories. There is no amount of walking a 5K that is going to allow you to indulge later as an exchange. That's not the point. It is just not the point. And I will also push up against the idea that getting a workout in makes you make healthier choices the rest of the day. For some people's mindset, it does. For other people, they're just like, well, I did that and now I get to do that, which she actually brought up both points in her head. So I'm kind of like, which one are you? Are you going to make healthier choices, quote unquote, the rest of the day? Or are you going to use it to justify indulging later? So I don't know. It's just such a tit for tat mindset It's all about burning enough calories and things like that when the body does not work that way. You don't need to burn off all of your calories for Thanksgiving on a Thanksgiving day, pre-Thanksgiving meal, in order to be able to earn your Thanksgiving meal. That's just not how the body works. The body counts calories over time. It's not a single day of, well, if you don't burn them off today, then sorry, you failed. It's just like, it's going to use up that energy over the rest of the week. And if you're in tune with your body, if you're someone who has healthy habits in general, then it won't be a problem at all. At all.
Yeah, it's a really transactional way to think about it. I just don't love the idea of marrying weight loss to exercise in the first place. It's the least efficient way to lose weight ever. We should be able to move our bodies for fun, for pleasure, because we enjoy movement. It feels good, but not do it from a place of transaction. If I do this, then I get to have that. Or if I do this, then I'm going to lose that. It doesn't really work that way. It's a overly simplistic view of weight loss or how to have a relationship with exercise, I would say. Not one that's particularly useful either. All right, let's go ahead and see what she has to say for tip number 4.
Tip number 4 is know what you're getting yourself into. Odds are a lot of us are food trackers. We like to keep track of points or calories or macros or something, and we log what we eat. But on Thanksgiving, a lot of us tend to not log what we eat for one of two reasons. One, ignorance is bliss. And if you don't track it, it never happened. Am I right? I mean, that's wrong, but am I right? And the other thing is you just don't know where to start. There's so many things that you don't have control over. Aunt Sue made sweet potato casserole. You have salads. You have all sorts of things on the Thanksgiving table that you had no control over. You don't know how they were prepared, and therefore you don't know how to track it. And so a lot of you will just throw up your hands, throw in the towel, and say, that's fine, I'm not going to track it. Hear me out, my friends. You might want to consider trying to track it, even if it's not entirely accurate, because tracking some of it is better than tracking none of it. It allows you to walk into your Thanksgiving meal feeling empowered. At least you know that turkey might cost you about this, and pecan pie might cost you about this, and the sweet potato casserole and the cream corn and all that jazz. It is much better to have a 30-bite meal tracked when actuality you ate 42 bites instead of having 0 bites tracked in actuality eating 42 bites. At least you kind of know, you can kind of gauge, and you know what you're getting yourself into. That will empower you to make positive choices, healthy choices. It allows you to choose what you want to spend your bites and points on, and it allows you to acknowledge what maybe you don't want to spend your bites, points, calories on.
I don't know about you, but the last thing I want to do is track how many bites of anything I've had ever. I might be taking her a little too literally, but that's a really good way to take all the fun out of a Thanksgiving meal.
At this point, like, why are you even going? I just why are you even going? If you have to be this in control over every single meal you eat every day for the rest of your life until you die, what is the point? I understand. So from our perspective, we teach our clients to kind of look around the Thanksgiving table or the buffet table or the restaurant menu, whatever, and choose the things that really stand out to you as your favorites and have your best bites first because your stomach only has so much room. So you want to make sure that you're eating your favorite things. You want to make sure you have your worth it bites and not fill up on these steamed vegetables and all this other nonsense before you're allowed to have the good stuff. So we say best bites first, right? We say choose the things you actually want to have just because your stomach only has so much space. I think that that's a reasonable way to go about this as far as having a plan and knowing what you're getting into. Know what you're getting into. Scan the room. Make your choices. Skip out on things that don't knock your socks off, even if your favorite aunt made it. And you're just like, but I really hate her cornflake casserole or whatever, her Mormon jello salad, whatever it is. So I think it's reasonable to have some kind of strategy in place to make sure that you're not just eating just to eat, because it is in your environment and environmental triggers are a thing, right? They are going to push you to eat more and more and more when there's a big abundance of food. So being thoughtful is wise. But when we think about who we want to be as eaters, do you want to spend the rest of your life not knowing how to eat without a calculator? Not knowing how to interact with food ever, not any meal ever without tracking it or calculating it or what it's going to quote unquote cost you? Oh my God, that language just puckered my asshole right up. I'm just like, no, it's not going to cost you anything. You're costing me all my joy. Just the words out of your mouth are costing me all my joy. So I understand. I used to be a dieter. I used to feel this way a lot of the time. But one thing that I did really well during the holidays was allow myself to have the holidays. Now, if I was hardcore restricting up to a holiday meal, I definitely binged my face off. I definitely overdid it. I definitely went crazy, but I never tracked my holiday meals. Instead, I ate a reasonable breakfast. If it wasn't until dinner, I also ate a reasonable lunch. I didn't starve myself throughout or try to fast or save up calories for later or anything. I was really pretty thoughtful about those kinds of things, but I definitely wanted to eat what I was gonna want to eat, especially since I've made all of it. So, um, I don't know, I just this mindset, again, is so transactional, it sucks all the joy out of life.
Well, and like you said, it doesn't really create an environment for self-trust. How do we learn how to practice becoming people who can eat without using MyFitnessPal to calculate or without the guilt because we've broken one of our food rules or we've eaten too much? So much of what she's perpetuating here is exactly what makes dieters rebel is all of the rules, all of the restriction. On a day like Thanksgiving, we want our freedom. We want our independence. We want to be able to enjoy all of the things. And it's possible to do that without overeating, but people act as if that's not even a solution or an option because there is no self-trust because they haven't proven to themselves that they can do it. And this is their safety net. This is their security. Although I will argue, we worked with a lot of dieters at this point, over 2,500 plus, right? And we know that the vast majority are not successful. They might have the perfect plan going into Thanksgiving, but as soon as they cross the threshold and all of the options are in front of them, the plan kind of goes out the window because they break one rule and then everything unravels and they don't know how to deal with the lack of control. We don't know how many calories are in every single thing that's being served, so screw it. And then we just stuff ourselves till we're sick and we punish ourselves with exercise the next day. I'm telling on myself over here. So I get it. I've been there, but there is a way to have both. You can enjoy all of your favorites in a way that's purposeful, intentional, enjoyable without making yourself miserable and sick at the same time. So be sure to download the ultimate toolkit that we talked about at the beginning to help you come up with a plan. Because I do think it's helpful to have a strategy at least, but one that puts you in charge. You're the boss, that feels good and isn't all about rules, that takes away that self-trust. All right, let's see what else she has to say here.
Tip number 5 is go do something after dinner. Whether it's taking the entire family for a walk, which would be a wonderful, wonderful thing, and might be something I consider because I will be in Florida. But for most of the United States, which is already weirdly cold, perhaps doing something like going and doing an activity after dinner. Maybe go get your Christmas tree and then haul it on in and start decorating. Get your body moving. Play a game with the kids, run around a little bit. I don't know what kind of options are out there. Let me know your suggestion in the comments below, but do something because a little bit of movement after that big meal when our impulse is to lay back and fall asleep on the couch and just let that meal sit there, the movement's going to help you digest. It's going to help you burn some extra calories and it's going to help keep your energy up despite all of the turkey that we just consumed.
Okay, Steph, thoughts on the movement?
I don't hate this one. I don't think you have to, but I don't hate the idea of getting outside and playing if it's a nice day, going for a walk, helping your digestion along, that kind of thing. If you want to sit down and relax and rest, most of my family honestly does. We usually just go full potato, you know. It would be nice if you helped your mother clean the kitchen, I'm just saying. But other than that, I don't hate the idea of getting outside and going for a family walk. I think it's a good way to connect and bond and get out in nature and enjoy if that's accessible to you. It's not accessible to everyone, but I don't hate it. I don't think it has to be about burning off your calories, though. I just think, yeah, you could probably help yourself digest a little better and have a good time.
She lost me at pulling out the Christmas tree. Like, I don't know, Christmas decorations for me, especially the tree, is a lot, especially for one day. But yeah, I don't hate movement. Again, as long as it's not punishing. I don't feel like we have to drag the family along in the same way that we don't have to drag them or force them to eat the vegetables. It's like, look, you want to move, knock your socks off. Truly, I have gone and worked out after Thanksgiving once before. That was not my plan. It was just something that was suggested to me. My niece wanted to go to the community center, and I'm like, all right, I'll go down there with you. And we just kind of played around in the gym, did a little bit of weightlifting, and it was playful and lighthearted and fun. But there was no heaviness in my stomach. There was no needing to lay back on the couch and unbutton my pants because, again, there's not much pleasure and enjoyment in Thanksgiving for me when I eat to that point. The pleasure comes from the variety of flavors and enjoying all of it in an intentional way and just being with my family. I travel to Dallas every year for Thanksgiving, so it's primarily just about being with my nieces and nephews that I don't get to see all the time. And so that's part of the fun for me. But yeah, the movement one, after the meal, again, what's your motivation? It always comes back to that for me. What's your reason? Is it a good reason? Is it a punishing reason? Are we doing this because we feel guilty? What's the incentive here?
Yeah, I also just want to highlight that now we are at two movement sessions for Thanksgiving Day, one in the morning and one in the evening. So, double workouts for all of you. And it doesn't necessarily mean that they're both workouts, right? Walking twice a day. I walk twice a day. I have a dog. Like we walk twice a day. So that it's not like that's a disordered thing in and of itself. But again, like you have mentioned multiple times, it comes back to what are your reasons? What is the energy you're putting behind all of this? And if your energy is constant damage control, you need to reevaluate your relationship with this one meal. Look at all the accommodations and things that you have to do for this one meal to survive. It's just so loaded.
Yeah, a lot of emotional bandwidth for one meal, one day. Well, y'all, I think we're going to stop here at the first five and not cover the second half of our video because it's actually pretty reasonable. We don't disagree with tips 6 through 10. It was just primarily 1 through 5 because these are the most common that we see in the fitness industry at this time of year. And we just want to invite you to consider a different possibility, a different way of approaching Thanksgiving this year that doesn't feel like FOMO is kicking in or that you can't enjoy all of your favorites without feeling guilty or like we have to do punishing exercise the next day. It is possible to be able to enjoy all of the things without overeating. So be sure to grab the toolkit on your way out. We'd love to get your insight into what you enjoyed about this video, or what is one of your favorite holiday foods. Leave us a comment. Which do you agree with? What do you disagree with? We always welcome your feedback. Be sure and hit the like and subscribe button on your way out, and we'll catch you on the next one.